Alright, we got the 11:55 spoilers, and this chapter is so absolutely incredible that I need to just rush right into them, so let's do it. So, we're continuing from the last chapter with Rox and Loki. We learned that Zebek is a unique swordsman. Okay, so that's confirming that Rox does use a sword, as we suspected. I think we've seen it in a silhouette one time, maybe in the anime, maybe in the manga, I forget, but we have seen it. And that's how he cut that mountain in the previous chapter, I guess. But also, it's saying that he's unique, of course, is really interesting. Maybe we'll get more into that once we get the summary tomorrow, or hopefully if Read-On supplies it to us. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because, you know, I'm always going to cover that. And you'll get, like, you know, a notification, or you'll just see it on your subscription feed, knowing that, you know, they have been released, and then you can watch my video, and, you know, it's convenient. But anyway, the unique swordsman could be how he uses the sword. You know, it could be like a gimmick like Zoro's, you know, 3 swords. Or it could be something with his devil fruit, possibly. But even more interesting that Blackbeard doesn't use a sword. He's like a, you know, punch guy, I guess. I guess he's like a toolbox kind of guy. He'll just do whatever he needs to do to win. But he definitely is not like a swordsman. He single-handedly kidnapped 5 kings during the reverie. So we're coming back to the reverie, or this is the reverie, you know, in this flashback where Rox met Harold. So we know that Rox met Emu 8 years ago in the reverie, where he met Harold too, and he made it all the way to the Room of Flowers. Rox told Emu that he will be back, and Rox told Emu that he's a fan of Davy Jones. Oh my god, this is a massive, massive statement here. Oh my god, this is so important and exciting. So, Rox freaking met Emu. Holy crap. This is incredible. Rox is so powerful and like such a, you know, nonchalant type of guy that he just went through the reverie, went through Mary Joie, and then made it to the Room of Flowers where Emu was. This also reminds me of The Matrix. I know I've talked about this before, but Emu has been going through these cycles of all of these people that emulate people from the past, or when Emu's prime was, or, you know, during the Void Century, or, you know, a little before that maybe. You know, it's like Joy Boy, and then it's like Rox's generation, and then it's like Luffy's generation. You know, for like 1,000 years, 800 years, 900 years, Emu has just been experiencing this over and over again. Just like, you know, how Neo in The Matrix wasn't like the original one. There was many ones before him, because it's, you know, a contingency of The Matrix. And the world that Emu and the world government have created is kind of like The Matrix. Now, I guess they weren't hostile because it says that they don't fight, so I guess they just spoke, or maybe Rox knew that Emu was just unbeatable, so why even challenge them? But saying that he'll be back is interesting because it's implied that he's dead, so I guess that means Blackbeard will return, which I totally think that he will. I mean, it's very possible Blackbeard is the one that defeats Emu and takes their power. And then Luffy has to wind up fighting Blackbeard, winner takes all. But first, guys, let's talk about GamerSupps Premium Energy Cans. That's right, GamerSupps now comes in a can. It comes with all the awesome energy and nootropics that GamerSupps normally does, except now the flavor is enhanced because they're adding a little bit of sugar to this stuff. And it tastes incredible. I was able to try it at Anime Expo this year. It's probably the best energy drink I have ever tasted. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored by GamerSupps. They legitimately tried to make this taste really good, because the zero sugar energy drink market is so oversaturated that they decided to add sugar to this to make it, you know, stand out, and it worked. So guys, starting tomorrow, 7-Eleven at 3 p.m. Eastern, these things are dropping officially. You can get a case of them, or you can get like 3 cans, I think. Check the link in the description and make sure you use code BIGZ for 10% off. Thanks, guys. Or Luffy and Blackbeard team up to take on Emu. Anyway, him saying that he's a fan of Davy Jones is crazy as well, because we've heard Davy Jones mentioned once or twice in the series before. I think it said that Davy Jones invented the Davy back fight, right? Is that like the lore to him or something? At least in the One Piece world. I mean, of course, like in the real life mythology, he's like that squid beard pirate guy. But this could mean that he actually does exist in the One Piece world, and maybe he's like the analog to Nika. Because, you know, we've been talking about the parallels. We've got, you know, Luffy, Blackbeard, Roger, Rocks, and then Joy Boy. We don't know who his Blackbeard was yet, but maybe Davy Jones was the Blackbeard of Nika. Not Joy Boy, like, if we're going back possibly 3,000 years ago when this all started, maybe that's when Davy Jones was from. I'm going to talk about this more with Sai, actually, get his thoughts on it. When Rocks met Emu, he also saw Gunko, as she is the servant that serves Emu directly. Okay, this checks out because Gunko is old. You know, she knew Brook back in the day, so understandable that she would still exist at this time. But I guess she has, like, face wraps on still. That way we can identify her as being Gunko, maybe. But interesting that she started off as a servant and not a holy knight. Rocks and Harold clashed in the reverie, and the clash was so strong that the hockey went all over the place like Roger and Whitebeard. Holy crap. Okay, so Harold is incredibly strong. He's probably just as strong as Loki is, I guess. Zebek destroyed the Justice Gate one time. Also stole a ship with the money from the Tenryubitos. That's incredible. Makes you love Rocks even more. He fought in the Davy back fights to make his crew larger and larger. So yeah, this checks out. He loves Davy Jones, and maybe this is supposed to also be like the parallel to the next generation admiring the previous one. You know how like Loki likes Rocks, could be like Rocks likes Davy Jones the same way. Also doing the Davy back fights, which we suspected since, you know, he does take over Pirate Island, which we're going to talk about, but he created his crew, and we see 6 members with him in Elbaf. One of them is Wang Shi, and another one is a gangster called Marlone. That's a new member we didn't know about. After a few years later, he left Elbaf and he took the pirate island under his control. So yeah, that's when it started. He took over Hachinosu, and it became what it is now, I guess. So this chapter is incredible. I can't wait to go over more of the details tomorrow in the full summary. Wow, what an incredible character Rocks is. Already one of my favorite characters. It only took 1.5 chapters. Not even 1.5. One in like a sliver of a last page. But yeah, hopefully we'll get more into what Emu is saying to him. And also why Rocks made it to the Room of Flowers and how he did it. Or maybe we're just going to cut through that and just, you know, see it in like 3 panels. And then him fighting with Harold is incredible. Like I said, this confirms that Harold is obviously really powerful. Loki is really powerful. Harold is his father. As we've seen, that's kind of like how it works. Shamrock Shanks with Garling. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about all of this. What do you think about Davy Jones? Let me know what you think about your Davy Jones theories in the comments. Do you even think about Davy Jones? Or do you think he's not like a real thing? I think he is now. I think this is confirming it, in my opinion. But let me know. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.